Texting. Hey, happy Monday from a not so humid but not quite frigid mid-sack, the redoubtable one himself, Tom Izzo, the highly questionable Arjun Miliaccio. Welcome back from the weekend. Man Up Monday here on IDD. For those of you who know, I don't disagree. Segment 1, the floodgates opened in the NFL free agency market today, and a lot of stuff of significance, a lot of big names bouncing around. There's still a lot of big names out there. One, Derrick Henry, to name a few. But there was some significant ones today. It never really disappoints. Every year there's a couple you're like, whoa, really? And today was no different. Locally, the Patriots re-signed some of their garbage, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Although I wouldn't say Hunter Henry's garbage. I'd say he's average. But that was kind of a necessary
3-year deal.
Yeah, that was kind of a necessary because they had no tight end on the roster, so they kind of had to do that. So
they don't have Gesicki anymore.
No, he was a 1-year deal. So they brought him back. Here's the head scratcher. Kendrick Bourne, 3 years, $33 million.
They signed that.
He's coming off a torn ACL.
How many guaranteed?
I don't know, but it's not a big hit. It's like $6 million a year, but still, he's 30. He was the best of the worst lot receiving core in the entire NFL. I'll make that bet, and I'll probably win it. And that means they've got a bunch of 4s and 5s, 5s and 6s, and special teams guys left. And that would be Devontae Parker, who they are trying to trade, as well as Juju Smith-Schuster, who may never recover from the knee injury that he suffered. And then it's Bourne. That's the 3 guys on the roster right now. That along with Pop Douglas and the kid from LSU.
You all signed Brissett.
I was going to say, I'd get to him. Yeah, thank you for stealing my thunder, Tom. I was about to mention Jacoby Brissett.
Sorry, it's such a thunderous signing.
Well, it is because he's now the best QB on the roster. They traded Mac Jones. Look, the whole world saw that one coming. Well, he's gone, so he is now the best quarterback in the roster.
I was talking to Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett has been a solid quarterback. He was here before. He did well before. So it's the right sign. It's a 1-year, $8 million deal for QBs. That's pocket change. So he's there if and when they do draft a quarterback, and that'll be the big question we'll talk about after we get through the list of signings today. But that's who they brought back. That's who they signed so far. The Giants took one on the chin today. Saquon Barkley is now an Eagle in the same. To me, it's the same division that bothers me. I think they went somewhere else, but
they were never going to sign him.
They were never going to sign him, so clearly they shouldn't be upset about it because they knew that could happen.
You could have signed him.
You could have signed him. But you never really valued him that much. Yeah. So
I don't really hate them letting him go.
I don't either, but it's Philly.
It sucks that he went to Philly, but they couldn't. You have to. If you're not going to sign him, well, you can't bitch.
But the thing is. And we talked about this off here. Did Philly make the right move here? Was running back their most glaring need? Yeah. I don't think so.
It's hard to argue because Saquon is so good, but when you look at that team, they were already good in the run game.
Saquon can't play defense, and their running game, to your point, was not their problem.
No.
So I don't get. Look, he's a great player. I'm not saying he's not. Not saying he can't help you.
They just spend a lot of money on running backs when nobody's really spending on running backs.
They have a secondary problem. They don't have one. Okay? And they don't have a second level either.
Just in. Austin Eckler to the Commanders. He's gotten up there in age and usage.
So Jim Harbaugh, that's the first guy
Jim Harbaugh?
John Harbaugh, the coach of the Chargers. Isn't that where he was? Austin Eckler, wasn't he a Charger?
Yeah, but his deal was up.
Why didn't you resign him? He's a 3-down back. He's very good.
I mean, dude, they've run him into the ground.
How old is he?
I don't know, but he's had a couple of 400-touch seasons.
Well, if they've run him into the ground, why is such a big signing with the Commanders? He's dead. He's damaged goods?
Yeah, no, I believe that. But, still, the Commanders, So, he got a 2-year deal worth up to $11 million. So, obviously, he's not.
Yeah, he's not that.
He's not considered top end.
Yeah, but I would have thought the Chargers, because he knows the offense. And, he's got a rapport with the quarterback.
But I wonder if Harbaugh's going to try to come in and really redo things. Who knows?
From a talent perspective, San Diego did not lack weapons.
But all their weapons get hurt.
They do. I'm not saying that, but the thing is, he's a good player. He's a really good player.
Who, Eckler?
Yeah. So if you're going to let a guy like that go, you better have a plan because you can't just replace that guy. I don't care what you tell me. That's like saying the Giants are just going to replace Saquon Barkley. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. They're back up.
So hang on. Ahead of the 2023 season, so last year,
yes,
Eckler in the final year of his 4-year, $24 million contract he signed in 2020. So they got him on the cheap.
They could have kept him on the cheap. Sounds like.
Well, no.
2 years for $11 million?
Well, no. I mean, yeah, I agree. That is cheap.
That's cheap.
And the fact that he was underpaid for the last 4 years.
Yeah. So then, okay.
I mean, he was only getting paid $6
I'm just saying he was a weapon.
He was a great back for them.
Yeah. You don't just
and
let
they
a
got
guy,
away $6 million for 4 years.
Yeah, you just don't let a guy
now
like
you
that.
won't pay him $5 million?
The thing, you don't let a guy like that just walk out the door unless you know something we don't. Meaning maybe there's an injury we don't know about, but he has to pass the physical, or that thing doesn't go through with the Commanders. So he's got to be healthy.
Maybe they just felt like he didn't make a difference. He's 28. As a running back, that is getting up there. It's not 32.
It's not 32. He's still got 4 good years left to be in the right system. Again, I don't think with Harbaugh. I don't think with Harbaugh he would touch it 400 times. Harbaugh would spread it around. So I don't know. But anyway, the Chargers have a void now they got to fill. And the guy on the street corner ain't going to do it. So
he had one of the worst years of his career last year. 3.5 yards per carry. Struggled with drops and had just 5 rushing touchdowns after getting 25 the previous 2 combined.
So he had average 12 a year, so he fell from 12 to 5.
Yeah, and his yards per carry dipped. Okay. So
okay,
maybe they thought, hey, we don't want to devote that much there.
Okay. I doubt they're going to replace that production, though. Unless they draft it in the first round, something like that, maybe. You can get a Pro Bowl tailback in the first, second round, sure, absolutely.
Probably get him deeper.
Maybe, yeah. So they better draft that guy. Hope to hit right.
Third round running backs. Some third-round running backs.
Well, now, remember where Harbaugh's coming from, Michigan. I think he can pick from that tree, too, if some of them are coming out, because he's a junior eligible.
That's true.
So they were a national champion, for Christ's sake. So he could do that, too. Anyway, but that's the day. Kirk Cousins to Atlanta is the big one.
Oh, yeah.
People for the past couple of years have been talking about Atlanta's weapons and how if they had a competent quarterback, how dangerous they could have been. After what I saw last year, I'm inclined to agree with them. So he is definitely an upgrade over what they had. And he will spread the ball around. So in those 2 instances, yeah, he helps them. And significantly. They're going to challenge in the South if he's healthy. So that's interesting.
I just can't. It's hard to imagine Atlanta with an offense.
See, to me, the bigger loss for the Giants is the defensive back.
Xavier McKinney.
He's the bigger one because
that defense was good.
That defense was playing well at the end of the year. They were top 10 at the end of the year, I thought. So. And they had they had the second toughest schedule to the Patriots during the year. The Patriots had the toughest schedule. They were ranked second toughest. So for that defense to improve.
The 2 shittiest teams in the toughest division.
You think that had something to do with it, Tom?
Exactly.
Oh, and they're devoid of weapons and a line and a coach. So, but anyway, so that's the update with free agency so far. Obviously, King Henry is still out there. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock, given Pollard signed with the Titans. So
I thought that
stands to reason they're gonna throw a purse together for Mr. Henry. It'd be stupid not to. But
that's an injury waiting to happen.
It could, well, again, the Dallas and Philly got the same problem. The defense. Dallas can be run on. Philly can be thrown on. So Dallas has to address the front 7. Philly particularly has to address the back 4. And part of the front 7, the linebackers.
Well, they added to their D line.
Yeah, they did. He came from the Jets too, right? You said
Jets. Huff, I think, DN from the Jets. I mean, they went from setting the world on fire with sacks the year they went to the Super Bowl to last year.
72.
They weren't getting pressure like that last year.
In the 40s. They dropped by almost 30.
Major drop-off.
Major drop-off.
And that was weird. I mean, they did lose Hargrave to the Niners.
Yeah.
I guess that was a big deal.
It was.
Especially because he was an internal line. When you got a guy who gets pressure up the middle, you can't replace that.
The way you get pressure with 4 starts with your 2 tackles. Because if your 2 tackles have to be double teamed, that means your ends are now singled up.
Yeah.
And that's how you get pressure with 4.
And one of their tackles was a rookie. Now, granted, a great rookie.
Yeah.
Still, that's, you lost a guy who had, I don't know how many sacks he had that year from the middle. That was
a lot.
It was like
you
don't get that many as a tackle.
He was in double digits.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So, And I think the Niners might have let him go.
They might have. But no, the thing is, like what was weird about today is that some teams they addressed glaring needs. Some teams created needs that wasn't really a need by just letting someone walk. Some teams they drafted a guy who, oh yeah, he's talented, but what he's not your real. They're not your real problem. So it was kind of across the board. The Patriots had to get a veteran quarterback on the roster. That move made sense for Jacoby Brissett. That made sense. They had to re-sign Hunter Henry. They had no tight end in the roster. That made sense. There were things that you've got to do that, okay? But there are some things that just don't make sense. And I don't understand. Like I said, I don't get Philly, who didn't have a running back problem, going after. And again, Saquon Barkley's a great player. I'm not saying he's not, but that's not your most. Where's the shutdown corner? Where's the freaking? Where's that linebacker that covered the middle linebacker who covers sideline? These are the guys that you need.
Dude, I really wish Saquon would have went to Houston because I was already rooting for Houston.
Yeah, I'm kind of Houston's become.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, put him on that team.
Yeah.
That would have really improved that team.
With fucking Stroud and those
and Tank Dell and what was the other guy? I can't remember the other guy.
Oh, the
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins. He's a stud.
And they re-signed Schultz.
Sergeant Schultz.
Dude, they should have sprung and spent the extra. I think it was reported they were willing to go up to 11 per year. He got like 12 a year. I would have matched
fucking
that. Do it.
I would have matched that.
You have a good roster now.
You had Saquon Barkley to that roster.
That would have made sense.
That would have made a difference. Yeah. So, yeah, again, this is the thing. There's still a lot of big names out there like Derrick Henry. We're going to see in the coming days what these teams do.
Would you sign Henry?
If I was Dallas?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I would. A guy like that.
He adds a different dimension to that offense.
Dallas hasn't had a guy like that since Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
A guy like that, you have to put 7 in the box because you figure he's going to break 2 tackles.
That's who they wanted. What's his face to be?
Pollard was not that dude.
No.
Ezekiel Elliott was more closer to that dude,
but not
as good as Henry.
No, yeah.
You got to have that dude that can break 2 tackles. Like that's what Derrick Henry can do. Pollard can't do that. Okay.
Pollard was great as a compliment to a big back like that.
He was. Yeah. He was a fire to the ice.
And then without that, he was a good back. He was good.
When they lost Ezekiel Elliott, the running game took the hit because he was the guy who between the tackles could get you 4 yards.
Yeah. But I still think Tony Pollard got 1,000 yards last year. So I'm saying he's good, but not really game changing.
He's not game changing.
Now, if you have a big back and then he comes in every now and then, he's kind of a game changer then.
I'm saying, the thing about Henry with Dallas is now you've got to put 7 in the box.
Yeah.
And that's going to make Dak Prescott even better because he had a great year last year, at least in the regular season. And if he had that guy behind him, holy shit. But again, that's offense. Dallas can still have the ball slammed down their throat. If Dallas isn't drafting defensive line and inside linebacker their first 3 picks, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because that's their hole. That's their gap. And until Dallas becomes stout against the run, they're never going to win. If you can't stop the run in December, you are not going to be playing in February.
They need like those big refrigerator type tackles.
Yeah. I'd start in the SEC. Maybe Georgia. I don't know. Perhaps Alabama.
Maybe Alabama.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Clemson, maybe?
Clemson, LSU. Ole Miss.
Even Mississippi State.
The up and down.
They got some hogs in there.
The thing about the SEC is the interior lines of all those schools, every damn one of them is an NFL caliber player. On the front. The size of them. The size of them, the athleticism, they're mean. They're just mean every damn
Not
one
always.
of them.
Sometimes they're big, gentle giants.
Richard Seymour was no gentle giant.
No, I didn't say all the time. Sometimes, you got a nice guy in there.
What they say in front of a camera and what they're saying on the field in front of it is a totally different thing. And I'm pretty sure they say, let's do lunch afterwards. I don't think so. What was I looking at? Oh, here we go. Anyway, so to me, now I wanted your take, the Giants. I get the Saquon, not him one, but this defensive back, how good was he?
I mean, so Xavier McKinney,
yeah, he's
out of Alabama. I'd have to look at his numbers, but like, nobody on that defense is like game changing. No, the best player on that defense is Bobby Okereke. He's their middle linebacker. He's everywhere. Everybody else, like, they played pretty good as a unit, but like McKinney got like $64 million. They have so many holes in the trenches.
Yeah.
That's where I think they need to spend the money.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
Like Xavier McKinney, he deserved to get $64 million. He did. But like where the Giants are, that's why they didn't pay Saquon. And I think not paying McKinney it shows consistency in their strategy. Mm-hmm. So as much as it sucks because you're like, what are we just going to fucking shut it down and not do anything?
We got to forfeit the 2024 season.
I think
before it gets started.
I think what we're looking at is like, hey, no, we really have to rebuild from the inside out.
You do.
And in order to do that, you have to let pieces like that walk.
I mean,
it sucks because they did it too late.
No, but to your point, the thing is, Saquon was there, and they went to the playoffs once.
Exactly.
Right? Once.
Exactly.
You won a game, okay, but you didn't get any further than that.
We weren't winning championships with Saquon Barkley.
So, and it wasn't his fault.
Not his fault. He was always the best player.
But to Tom's point, you look at these teams on the line of scrimmage, the ones that are always playing in the playoffs now. And
exactly.
The Patriots, they had Tom Brady, but they always had a good line in front of them.
Oh my God!
They always
on
did.
both sides.
On both sides. Yep. The Belichick knew how to build lines.
Yeah.
And by the way, Dante Scarnecchia is the greatest offensive line coach that ever existed, and they had him too.
I think offensive line coaching might be some of the most important.
It really is.
Those guys, fucking NFL.
Those guys don't. I mean, we know because Scar, his nickname is Scar, by the way, coolest nickname in sports, Scar, and because he's an ex-Marine. And that should have told you something right there. Because those motherfuckers were in drill sergeant mode every fucking practice. And it showed. But because you couldn't name half these guys out of line. The last first round draft pick the Pats had his line was Logan Mankins. There's a name, Logan Mankins. Okay, that motherfucker's mean. Okay? That was like 2008. That was the last first round draft pick they had.
What about Nate Solder?
Next question.
No, I'm serious. Was he not a high round pick?
No, he was. He wasn't low. He was like third.
Because they turned him in. I mean, they got him a contract. The Giants ended up paying him so much money, and he never did anything.
Again,
he wasn't good.
That is the Dante Scarnecchia effect, right there. Okay, so I told you he turned a college wrestler into a Pro Bowl guard. The guy never played college football as a wrestler. He turned him into a Pro Bowl guard. That's how good Dante Scarnecchia was.
That's how important technique is from that position, man.
I mean, and look,
those guys deal with some big time athletes.
I remember. When I was playing Pop Warner, I played on the line, defensive line, and the stuff they were teaching us at 9, 10 years old, and that I remember, I can't imagine how in-depth these guys are. Because at the pro level, these guys in front of you are all Americans. Like,
in terms of your footwork and your hand placement,
everything,
and
leverage.
What do they call it? Punch, punching.
Yeah. How to get the angle and how to set the guy up for a move. And I got news for you. What goes on in the lines that they don't put the camera on enough is that alone. You just sit there and watch it every day. Like,
dude,
wonder who's gonna kill.
I know you're gonna hate that I bring this up, but
of course I am.
Just because you probably hate him, but a really fun defensive end to watch was fucking Dwight Freeney.
No, he was a great player.
When he would do that spin move, I mean, and you got to think if you're like a 6'8", 380-pound guy, and you got this beast spinning. I mean, he was such a beast.
You look at Dwight Freeney and the type of edge rusher he was. Then there's like a guy like Willie McGinnis, who's a big fucking.
Man, he was big.
But they're both effective, but they're different. But they did it in different ways.
Yeah.
And that's where
Freeney was more quick.
He was a speed guy, whereas Willie, you could buy. He played what's called the elephant position. They would move him up and down the line. He'd pick a hole and get in, and he could take on guards. He was so big, and he had the speed of a speed rusher, but then he had the size of a defensive end, and it was like he was a freak with McGinnis.
Dude, so you know who the Giants used like that, but he wasn't quite as big. Justin Tuck.
Justin Tuck, yes.
He was that strong. Yeah. But
he
was from Notre Dame.
But he had a first step too.
Yes.
Yeah. But Notre Dame does get some players. They do. They get a couple. Every year a couple.
Players. But it was funny seeing him go up against these interior O linemen that are so thick. Yeah. But he was just. I mean, he could.
No body fat.
Yeah.
No body.
Just move people out of the way.
I mean, no. But again, coaches see a guy like that and like, all right, how do I? They figure out. They know what he can do, and they set him up.
Yeah.
And they set him up for success. Like, all right, we're going to use this, and this is what Dallas needs to start doing more with Micah Parsons because he disappeared in that playoff game. He literally, if all the opponent has to do is throw a double team at him and he's done. Well, that's more on the coach because the coach has to move him around, so you can't just double him. Yeah. He's got to move him up and down the line. He has that ability.
And you also have to work with him to anticipate it. And it always seemed like when they lost a big game,
he was not there.
He was taken out of it.
Yeah, taken out.
He's too good. He's too good for that.
But again, Part of that's him. Part of that's the coach going, look, because you got to know that guy is the first guy they're trying to stop. Yeah. Like, all right, how do we get around this guy? He's the first guy every team games plan for every week. As a coach, not only should you know that, but you have to have a counter for him. Mm-hmm. You have to. Belichick used to do something with McGinnis where he would line him up behind the defensive end. Like he was the quarterback almost. And then right before the fucking snap, then he'd switch over to the nose tackle. Now you're like, what the fuck is... So the line has already changed the blocking scheme. Now, and all McGinnis is doing is watching the play clock. And Belichick would tell him, when it hits 3, move. Because then it's too late for him to change. Whatever they call it. And McGinnis was... They were brilliant at this. I mean, that first 3... That defense, 03 and 04, they were fucking filthy. Yeah. They don't get enough
this
credit.
Guy just hit the backboard on a free throw.
But anyway, yes, he did. Anyways, we're talking to you, WCC semifinals. That's that. No, I know. Oh. And you wanted an early night.
I know.
You're not going to try?
Yeah.
Damn it. Damn it, America. Damn it.
Doesn't mean I won't stay.
I think you should stay. That's going to be a Donnie. The March Madness has already started, America. It's already started. Segment 2 is going to be all March Madness, trust me, with some NBA sprinkled in. But anyway, look. Free agency is just starting. Again, some of these moves made sense. Some of them didn't. What do you guys think? Who's your team? Go in the comment section. Did you hey, by the way, Pittsburgh, we were off the air. Russell Wilson. What do you think about that? We kind of seem a little split on it. And I get where he's coming from, but to me, I think because Tomlin shows an interest because he went out, he went and got him. I think Russell Wilson's going to play for him because he knows he went out and got him. Okay, now he didn't spend a lot of money on him, but again, he's getting $39 million to pick his nose. Yeah. So I mean, Russell Wilson shouldn't be asking for money from anybody right now. But
so here's what I'll say, because I see why you're saying what you're saying. Makes complete sense. And then I also see, like, I keep saying this about teams going into seasons. Well, dude, when you look at their quarterback situation last year, this is such an upgrade. Like, that's what I said about the Jets.
Yeah. Well, if he stayed upright, he would have been an upgrade.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about the Falcons.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's never that simple.
Well, it's not about simple so much as when you watch that team play, like in the case of the Falcons and Steelers, all year long we kept saying, man, if their quarterback play was better.
They could just throw the ball.
If they could just throw, and because they have the weapons on the outside too. They have the tight end. There's no reason Pittsburgh can't throw the ball. I would have given anything for Mac Jones to have that kind of fucking talent. Anything for him to have that kind of fucking talent. And these quarterbacks, for whatever reason, and they got a good running back behind him. They got 2 running backs behind him. Yeah. Okay, couldn't figure this out. So to me, if Russell Wilson...
They got 2 good backs, a tight end,
yeah, Pittsburgh does not lack from skill positions. Okay, this is where... See, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I can get this guy for $2 million.
No brainer.
It's a no fucking brainer,
dude.
And he's trying to resurrect his career. He's got something to prove.
I heard people saying the Giants should go after him because they were like, fuck it, have a veteran backup.
If that's
at that price, it's like,
because if you draft the quarterback, I get that too. But
then you got Daniel Jones.
But if you look at Pittsburgh, who made the playoffs, in spite of their quarterback,
it's worth the risk.
It's totally worth the risk.
It's not a big risk at all.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's a low risk, high reward move. It makes all the sense in the world. Yeah. So, and the thing is, it's twofold because Russell Wilson's trying to save his career. He has to win there. He has to win there. Okay?
But at the same time, like, he's got $250 million. He doesn't.
Well, then why not just retire? Clearly, he's still that itch still scratches.
Well, I mean, he wants to play, but it's like if he doesn't win, like,
if I'm him, and I want, because right now we're talking about legacy damage control. Because Russell Wilson does care about his legacy.
Damage control was Denver. It
was damage. Now he's got to fix that.
Right.
Okay? Because the thing is, last year was not his fault. Last year he played better. He did. He was not the reason Denver lost last year. In fact, when they got their doors blown off 70, remember that 70-20 fucking that bum blasting, with the backside Georgie?
But they played good the rest of the year.
Because of him. He literally got that offense into gear. He played well. Look at his numbers. They don't lie.
Sean Payton hates him.
Sean Payton hates him. Sean Payton never wanted him. And look.
But everybody in Seattle hated him too.
At the end they did.
And that's the weird thing about it. Because when he won that Super Bowl, I felt like he was like America's darling.
He kind of was.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody loved Russell Wilson.
Because he was an undersized quarterback. It was tough. And he had,
And then people started calling him a phony.
Yeah. Well, it came from inside the locker
room. Right.
That's the thing.
Like, who is this guy? He's a character. Yeah. He's like, and I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird. It's still weird. I still don't understand that. Because, again, it wasn't all of them, but the ones that spoke up were pretty significant.
Oh, yeah. It was the big names.
It was the big names, which that's troubling.
But then you had Broncos Country, Let's Ride, and all that weird stuff, and it was just
That is the worst line ever in a press conference.
What is he doing?
Like, honestly, if his wife didn't slap him the second he got off camera, I swear to God, like, what the fuck are you doing? She should have. It would have been warranted.
Dude, he is.
The thing is, you and I saw that, and we wanted to slap him, and he's not even our quarterback. Like, Russell, shut the hell up.
I'm sure if I had slapped him, he would have beat the piss out of me.
No, Russell.
Hey, Russell. What? Self-defense. Just beat me to a bloody pulp.
Let's ride.
I would have said, all I wanted to say was Broncos Country, let's ride, man. Why'd you kick my ass?
Yeah, I should slap you again.
Why'd you kick my ass?
Oh, God. Anyways.
Any other big signings we missed?
The Packers got the Raiders running back.
Oh, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's actually really good for them.
I think it is.
Because Aaron Jones, I felt, was in and out of that lineup.
Well, he was the difference in those playoff wins.
Yeah.
He ran all over Dallas, but again, if he's injury prone, Josh Jacobs is a better running back, I think, than him.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think he is. That's an upgrade.
And that's saying something, because Aaron Jones is
a
good running back.
He's good, but he missed half the season.
Yeah.
I get it. So they look, if we're going to lose him, because they did. He signed. I forget where he signed. He went somewhere, too.
Who? Aaron Jones?
Yeah.
Did he get signed?
Yeah, I forget who signed him, though. But the thing is, if you knew you were going to lose him, that's a hell of a replacement.
Yeah.
I think. And Josh Jacobs is going to be talking about getting let out of jail because the Raiders were going nowhere fast and left yesterday. Now he's on a fucking playoff team. So that was one that was close to going to the NFC title game. If I'm him, I'm psyched. So that one potentially is a big move.
So the Bengals signed.
T. Higgins requested a trade.
So that.
Yeah, that was.
He's been one. He's tired of the money situation.
You can't pay all three of them.
Exactly. Cincinnati let Joe Mixon go. Their running back. That's not a big.
No, they could replace him. He's not. He's okay. He's not.
Well, they signed Zach Moss.
Okay.
Zach Moss is not as good as Joe Mixon, I don't think. But they got him on a 2-year, $8 million deal.
Yeah.
That's a normal running back deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to get interesting tomorrow. There'll be some other hats to drop. The big ones, obviously, to watch for will be Derrick Henry if Dallas does what I think they're going to do.
Dude, the Giants did make a big signing on their D-line, though.
The kid from...
They traded for Burns, who was a first-round pick to Carolina, I believe.
Yeah.
Not sure how long ago. But they traded for him, and then they signed him to a major deal.
Okay.
Like over $100 million, 80-something guaranteed.
Okay.
I don't really know about the guy.
Yeah. Where did he come from?
Carolina. So last year, people were trying to trade for him, offering two ones. And Carolina said no.
Oh.
And they waited too fucking long.
Did you look at his numbers?
No.
Look at him in Carolina. See what he did. Curious. Because if people were willing to give up 2 first-round draft picks for him, that's kind of hard to ignore. That's kind of
let's see.
That's kind of tough to.
So in 2022.
Yeah.
So he was a rookie in 2019. So he's been in the league
So he's like 26
4 years. This will be his 5th year.
Okay. Entering his prime.
So in 2022, he's a defensive end. 63 tackles, 29 assists, 12 and a half sacks. That's a good year.
That's a great year.
Now, last year...
As a tackle?
Well, he's an end.
Okay.
That's
a great year as an end.
Still a great
That's
year.
a great year. It's a Pro Bowl year.
So then, last year, 50 tackles, 18 assists, 8 sacks. Okay. That's still a really strong year on a shit team.
On a shitbag team.
Because
he was getting double teamed.
So since coming into the league, 7.5 sacks, 9, 12.5, 8.
That's a step.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Put him next to Dexter Williams.
I got news for you. If that's accurate, your defense just got better.
Yeah,
it did. Where it needed to.
And they traded a 2nd and a 5th, and then spent money. 2nd and a 5th for a really good defensive end.
Yeah, they're hard to find.
That's good value.
In a passing league, you need pass rushers like you read about. Because you have to, because of the rules, you have to allocate more manpower to the secondary. Because they can't touch these guys up to 5 yards. You can't do, and so you have to be able to drop 6 and 7 to keep these guys in front of you. Which means you've got to get pressure from the front 4. So that guy, okay.
Because they've got Thibodeau on the other side, but Thibodeau's not a guy that really draws double teams.
But he's good.
But he's good. Yeah, he's a good DN.
He's going to make him better.
Exactly.
He's going to make him better.
And then you got Dexter Williams in the center, who's the best lineman.
Yep.
So that'll really help.
That
them.
front four is looking pretty damn good.
Definitely a lot fucking better than it was.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But see, that's an impact signing. The Patriots didn't make an impact signing.
Well, it's still early.
But the thing is, they have the most money to spend. That's what's like, how are you not going out? And again, now when you look at who got signed today, the Pats defense is loaded. They didn't need that guy. They're going to get Judon. They finished in the top 10 with losing Judon and the cornerback.
And the corner.
Gonzalez, who was
would have been rookie. Bringing those guys
back. They're going to be a top 5 defense. That's not their problem. But linemen, okay, now the kid they did sign a guy from Pittsburgh. I don't know how good he is. People were saying he's pretty good. He's better than what they had. Okay. So they brought in a lineman. Okay, these aren't going to be sexy, but they got to get linemen, interior linemen. They got to. Andrews, the center, is probably the only good player on that line that's coming back. So they got to do this. And if the money all goes there and these guys are already okay, fine. I won't get mad. Yeah. But if they don't do that, they don't at least get an impact wide receiver, because Kendrick Bourne is not an impact wide receiver. I like him. And it's not a lot of money, but he's coming off an ACL. He's not going to be 100% next year.
But look at it like this. If they put money into the line, then they draft Jaden Daniels and a receiver too.
You and I both know Jaden Daniels is not going to be there. I hope to God you're right. I can't believe that anyone's going to take Drake.
The Commanders might go Drake May?
The Commanders are dumb enough to do it.
That's what I mean.
But the old Commanders were dumb enough to do it. I don't know if the new Commanders are dumb enough to do it.
Well, shit, but I don't know shit about any of them, honestly.
If
the only one I know about, it doesn't feel like Caleb Williams is that great, but now that I say that, he'll beat Joe Montana and Tom Brady in one.
Tom, you have already proven this more than once.
What?
You don't have to have a football background to have common sense and see something in the game, and it's like the eye test.
But I never saw Drake May play.
I'm saying, if I put a tape on...
And I didn't really see Jaden Daniels.
Listen, let me finish.
All right, sorry.
If I put a tape on of both of them, you're going to figure out pretty quick who the better quarterback is.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy. It's easy.
I've seen highlights of Daniels running 80 yards for touchdowns.
He did it in the SEC.
I know.
The ACC is not the SEC.
Not even close.
And I'm not saying that Drake May can't play, but if you're putting him up against that kid, no. If it's between those two, it's Daniels all day, every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And I don't think the Commanders are going to fuck this up. But again, if they do get him, I want Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the can't-miss pick in this draft. If he is healthy, he is a Hall of Famer. He's just like his dad, only bigger. And his dad, for those of you who forgot, had 14,000 career receiving yards and 100 touchdowns. And he was a pipsqueak compared to his son.
When you could destroy receivers, too.
Yeah, when they could still get hit. Okay? Okay, ask Marvin Harrison about the Patriots defense. We just talked about the Pats defense. Ask Marvin Harrison about Ty Law and Rodney Harrison and those boys. Okay, he didn't do it against just...
They're undersized.
Yeah, those guys are Hall of Fame secondary. He did that against them. Okay? His son is a much bigger version of him. And he's faster, too.
Some people are saying that the next receivers are pretty close to him.
The kid's from Washington. Guy you and I like.
Adunze,
yeah, he's good.
But then also Neighbors is
the kid from Texas who ran the 4.2.
Oh, that's right.
Worthy.
What was his
Worthy.
name?
Remember we didn't get to talk about him. We were so stoned. Worthy. That kid ran a 4.2. He ran the fastest 40 time.
4.21.
4.21. Faster than Deion Sanders. Hey, Patriots, are you hearing that? So speed kills in this league. You got to get a guy. If they got Marvin Harrison and him, I'd be singing.
Oh, my.
To go with Pop Douglas in the slot, I'd be singing. I mean, then you could probably start Bailey Zappi and he'd look good. But no, Zappi would still probably miss him. But
you guys signed Taki Taki.
Who's Taki Taki?
Where was he last year?
This a lineman?
Browns linebacker, Sion Taki Taki.
Oh, we signed a linebacker.
2-year deal.
Okay.
6'1", 238. He enters his 6th NFL season.
He comes from the dog.
72 career games, 36 starts, 269 tackles, and 4 sacks.
He's a pass coverage guy is what he is. He's a coverage linebacker. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a coverage linebacker, which you need. You do need them. Okay?
Shit, I mean, in not even 2 years, well, a little more than 2 years, he's got almost 300 tackles.
He's a coverage linebacker. Yeah. That's what that is. Okay? And by the way, you need them too. They now have a place. No one knew what a coverage linebacker was 10 years ago. But they're out there, and you do need them. Okay? So, and if you doubt that, just look at the AFC is a perfect example. Look at the passing attacks in the AFC. The receivers. You need a guy like that. So, yeah.
This is interesting. They're saying the Chiefs are interested in Darnell Mooney.
That is interesting.
Why don't they sign a big-name receiver?
He is good.
I know, but
That's why you sign him, because he'll come at a cheaper price, because he's not a big-name receiver. But is he productive? Will he catch the ball if Patrick Mahomes hits him between the 8 and the 1?
I guess the thing you have to say about Mooney is...
Can he get open?
He was productive with Fields, and whoever else was playing when Fields was hurt.
That's my point.
So
what could he do with Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
That's a good signing if they get him. Because they wanted Mike Evans, but Mike Evans re-signed with the Bucs. They wanted Mike Evans. That's what they want.
They're just saying they're interested. Ooh, Texans signing former Chiefs punter. Big move. Texans really trying to take that balance of power.
Tell you what, that three-peat is not looking so sharp now.
Not without that punter.
Not that guy.
Ooh, country singer Luke Combs calls out the Panthers. Wow, that's big.
All right, first of all, if you're a country music singer...
Shut up.
and you're shaped like Luke Combs, don't call out an NFL football team. Because if you could get in a three-point stance without ripping the hole in the back of your pants, any one of those guys would knock you into next week.
But hang on. He wasn't ripping the players.
No, he probably wasn't ripping the players.
He was ripping the front office.
He should rip the owner.
So here's what he said.
If he's ripping the owner, I get.
He said, what are we doing? No first-round pick for McCaffrey a few years back, and now none for Burns. Are we just firebombing the whole team here or what? I usually don't comment on these kinds of things, but it's just becoming slow torture at this point.
Well, the first problem is he's using the word we. Because unless he's a minority owner, you can't say that. We, Luke?
Come on,
we.
You know what he means.
We. No, it's what are they doing? I'm a lifelong fan, and this is utterly ridiculous. That I can get behind. We is a whole
Come on, he loves them.
I love the Patriots. You'll never hear me in the Patriots, but we did this. I didn't do shit. Okay? I didn't do shit. I rooted for them. I yelled at them when they screwed up. Beyond that, I didn't do a damn thing. So, and I'm a big fan of Luke Combs, by the way. I love Luke Combs. So, anyway, that's going to do it for segment one. We're going to come back segment two. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this, but over the weekend, there was a Donnie in a different kind of brook. Come back and find out.